It's a new day. It's all good. Weariness and a headache. Okay, maybe not the pleasant morning then. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong, Keiichi? You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? You see, in that moment I had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. You do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day's rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Oh, so someone's at the door. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than I would usually meet with Rena. It was Rena. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why are we giving like a character bio all of a sudden? Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It's probably mine. It had to be my code. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. Then I'll go send her off for you. Mum headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get by to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep deprived I quickly fell into a deep slumber. Well, I must have been waking up and opening their door almost constantly throughout the night then, if that's the case. I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table I found lunch prepared and a note. Mum and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far, far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet, take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it was really just leftovers from the morning, and in any case, went to the hospital. Town hospital? Is that where everyone goes? No pharmacies and stuff in Japan? Don't know. Don't know what the medical care is like in Japan. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of the weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mum's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. Would the clinic be making a mint though? I don't think it would be. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. "Maibara-san, please make your way to the examination room." going to the doctors, yay! It's always a fun times when you have to go to the doctors. After properly answering all the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. A whole 3 days. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear the gloomy feeling I've been having lately, then it was worth it. Also taking a shot for the cold, that's really weird. Unless it's like it was a virus, I could understand, but it's just a common cold, right? And again, they said back way when, so maybe stuff were done by the shot, so... I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who need to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping, if it wasn't for that word. Must have been an onikakushi. I wonder, she was still pretty young, might have just eloped. With whom? That man from Tokyo who visits every season. That young one, you know, with the big camera. Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? Were they talking about Tomitake-san? I can feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a quick note or quit their job or something. An elopement, it is an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message. The thought that I never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name was Takano-san. That woman was with Tomitake-san. What's if everyone's with the T names? And she worked at this clinic. Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. I can't say that all of a sudden. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Boy, things are gonna look peachy for you, Keiichi. Your future does look bright. Nah, that's grim. It's quite grim. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with a change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far in the middle of the road where I had to be in a car's way? I moved further to the side, but the hot car was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved. Maimara-san, good day to you. Ah, it's Ooishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. Well, you should tell him that the AC is really bad for the car's economy, but I don't think he would care all that much. The heat versus his car economy. I think the heat trumps that, I guess. What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home. That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling good for it, then don't mind me. I was just going to lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold. I doubt you want to eat at one of these local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive. Is that all right? I know a pretty good place. I finally begun to understand Ooishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. So actually, this is the first time we'll be seeing the town nearby. I went with Ooishi-san, riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. I recalled Renna, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back to a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomitaki-san died. They hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitaki-san. Why is everyone we know a fucking mind reader? Ooishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in comics all that time, where there's a drug that if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces? It exists. Oh god, Succinylcholine or something like that, something or the other. Well, it's pretty common, but you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitaki-san to react like this. Then, you're saying the police concluded Tomitaki-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be dissociated from Tomitaki-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had a beating before he died, and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. A bit relieved that people were involved? We passed in front of the rather desolate but still busier than Higurashi train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Ooishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course there wouldn't be children in here in the middle of the weekday. 2 please, non-smoking. This way please. When you're ready to order, please call me over. We were led by a meticulously dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Ooishi-san in the booth. So what do you think? Aren't the waitresses dressed as... Oh, is that really the starting topic we're going with? Aren't the waitresses' outfits here cute? Huh? Well, I guess. I can't have any input, we haven't seen it. The shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food you see. Ooishi-san, you're leering. Am I really? It totally is. Are we sort of in a maid cafe right now? I think we might be. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Ooishi-san after meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday we talked about Hiramizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Ooishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Okay, turns out that Hiramizawa used to be called Onikakushi, or the Ogre's Abyss. Onikakushi. Okay, that is quite a name. The name still goes around. The marsh where the Shinto priest drowned herself is still called the Ogre's Abyss. It is said that the depths of the marsh connected to the realms of demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh. I doubt you'll ever head towards it either. And you see, it appears they both feared and revered. They were both feared and revered, a respect born from fear. I guess you could say it was a kind of deification, a village of inhumane creatures. Seems the demons were senin or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts, taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the ogre's abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we were to call them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or senin would be a more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. They were still man-eating demons. According to the story my according to the story my grandma told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. Though the price of curing her son was herself, that's a tad unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, well, you see, all the people who lived in Onikakushi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up and captured them. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. Yeah, entire village going after like 1 or 2 people, that's a horrible, horrible thought. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. That's the problem with this story. Both witnesses in this story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh? There are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Ooishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. Secret, I need to make one to have later. But, well, there's quite a few other tales where the demons of Onikakushi band together to capture their prey. I recall that Rion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped. Nor they hunted down a single person and chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Ooishi-san also appeared to be pondering about what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does that all mean? You must never help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. Is that how you say it? Atrocities? Damn, it's all tongue twisting me now. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. They'll just gobble you up. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it was the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when it wasn't a group on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then, Ooishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, my Bara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. Wow, how weak is the coffee here if you need another one? Usually one's just fine. That's what I wanted to know. It seems that we were both waiting for the other to say the last part. I waited for the waitresses to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Ooishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee. Though those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, my brother-san, I had a little bit, okay? A background checking done on them. Ooishi-san had said this to me before. I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid, Maibara-san. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Ooishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There's quite a few things I regretted hearing from Ooishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. It was probably the last one. Last one before he completely loses it. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Ooishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Ooishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project fervently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she would be. It wasn't hard to imagine how she would be if she got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in an accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name is Sakuto Hojo-san. Huh? Sakuto, meaning Sakuto? Ooishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realised it as well and quickly quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika oh god, I haven't pronounced the second name before. The Furude-san. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the fourth year. You already know, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Sakuto Hojo. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody as she lost both her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house. I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, but I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it all snuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared the fourth year, by the way, he was Sakuto's older brother. Wait, just 1 second. I took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. But Ooishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard. Of all the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That just had to be a coincidence. Maibara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking. Mion? Sakuto? Rika-chan? I wonder if they're connected. You're telling me all my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena's different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. Rena Ruga was living in a suburb of Ibaraki, Prefecture until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. He was saying she's also connected. Actually, I looked into her. Before Ruga-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows. Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school? That same silly Rena had? I couldn't imagine it. It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with, oh god, how do you say that? Or dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither these matched Rena's easygoing personality. And in the end, the counselor's medical report, he recorded all the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up, and quite a bit of that. What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There could have been anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa? It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. After a while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to the residency register, the Ruga family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rena-san moved to Ikebari after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all senses of comprehension. Maibara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand, Rena. Then, how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. Have you forgotten, Maibara-san? Didn't you spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. No, there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Ah, Maibara-san, you said did you take your afternoon medication? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today till Ooishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got into the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. But dump. That big jump was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from the cement to dirt. Well, not cement, well, tarmac, isn't it? I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. No, not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Ooishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and couldn't help. Everything Ooishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Ooishi-san to reach out for me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Ooishi-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Ooishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them? Ooishi-san didn't really give a response. I felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Maibara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with, that was absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident was a string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine? After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock reads 2 PM. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ear. I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Ooishi-sama's curse this year. You're saying I should contact you if I find it, if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maibara-san. I wasn't collected enough to understand Oyashiro's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I really didn't give it any sort of response. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now. Bye, Ooishi-san. The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in a shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Ooishi-san was being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing, and I was just a bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator, or was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it. I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Well, you need to get that checked out if that's the case. That's kind of bad. So we take the afternoon break of this